What's going on, everyone? Sorry I've been kind of MIA the last couple of weeks. Hopefully I can make up for that with this huge show I have planned today. I plan on reviewing 3 movies in depth, as well as giving my opinion on 3 other ones. I've been gone for something like 4 weeks, I think, from YouTube. And so there's been a lot of movies that come out since then. So for starters, let's talk about the ones that I just want to give my little opinion on first. And so for starters, The Watch. I honestly think it just looks dumb. I know there's an all-star cast in it, well, 3 out of 4 as an all-star cast, but I think with all those going in, it's going to be stupid, a lot of just dumb hit-and-miss jokes. So honestly, if you want a good comedy from 2012, I recommend going and seeing Ted or going and renting 21 Jump Street. Both of those are fantastic comedies. I highly recommend them. And as for Step Up 4, why do we have 4 of these films? Is the audience for it that big? But again, I think this is just stupid, a waste of money, a waste of time. If you really want to see a dancing movie so bad, go see the man that started this entire Step Up craze, Channing Tatum, in Magic Mike. It'll probably have better dancing, and that's about it. Probably just better dancing. Finally, Total Recall. I have not yet seen this one. It just came out on Friday because I'm not a huge fan of remakes. I don't think they're ever really good as the original, can't compare to it. And honestly, I will take my 90s cheesy acting, cheesy one-liners, Arnold Schwarzenegger, over a new 2012 CGI heavy, awesome looking action flick. Alright, so first off, Ice Age 4, Continental Drift. Alright, so Continental Drift is the 4th installment in the Ice Age franchise and follows the main 3 characters of Manny the Mammoth, Sid the Sloth, and Diego the Saber-Toothed Tiger as they get lost at sea on a giant piece of ice that never seems to melt. That's realistic for you. On their voyage, they run into a pirate ship full of misfits. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. And then our heroes have to stop the pirates and return back to land where Manny can be reunited with his mammoth family. So obviously we live in a world full of unwanted or unneeded prequels, sequels, remakes, and reboots. It's dumb, I acknowledge that, but unfortunately it's what we get nowadays, and it sucks. Although Continental Drift is better, and I use that term loosely, than The Meltdown and the one with the dinosaurs, still does not come close or compare to the original Ice Age from 2002, I believe. That one by far is the best of the series. It's my personal favorite, and since then the franchise just kind of went downhill fast. One thing they did get right though in Continental Drift is they went back to the original cast of the first one, where it focuses more on Manny, Sid, and Diego, with very little interaction of the side characters except for the villains, of course. Which personally I think works better because I never really cared for Queen Latifah's character as the girl mammoth, or her possum brothers, Manny's kid. Less side characters, more focus on the main ones, so that's perfect. But that being said, Ice Age 4 is still a kids movie with a lot of ridiculous moments and a lot of points in there that are just plain out dumb and we don't care about. But the franchise is a huge cash cow for DreamWorks, and they're willing to throw originality out the window to keep cranking out these sequels whether we want them or we don't. But Continental Drift isn't bad. It's a step up from the previous 2, nowhere near as good as the original, but it's tolerable in my opinion, and that's why I'm going to give Ice Age 4 Continental Drift a 7 out of 10. And the same can be said for the Wimpy Kid franchise, as in the 3rd Wimpy Kid came out on Friday and is a huge cash cow for Fox, and we will continue to see more sequels to the Wimpy Kid story. Only difference between Wimpy Kid and Ice Age is that Wimpy Kid is based off a book, a children's book, so it has a story that some kids know and would like to see in film adaptation, which makes it a little bit more tolerable than the Ice Age franchise. And for the most part, I do enjoy the Wimpy Kid movies. I have taken my cousin Gavin to all 3 of them in theaters, and personally they're fine. I don't have a major problem with them. I think a lot of people are able to relate to the main character in that, as from young kids as well as kids my age, from the stuff that we did. They can be enjoyable in moments. So Dog Days again is centered around Greg Heffley, who's the main star of all three films, but this time instead of being in school and focusing on school problems, it focuses on summer vacation and the things kids go through during summer. For example, Greg only wants to stay inside and play video games all day, hang with friends, chase after the girl he has a crush on, where his dad wants him to go outside, do outdoor activities such as joining the Boy Scouts, playing sports, getting a job, stuff like that, getting away from television, kind of to gain more responsibility. Now, obviously these movies are not plot heavy. There's a lot of things thrown in there to make a summer vacation or a school year for these kids and the problems they face during that school year. So there's tiny little plots around them, but for the most part it's just what kids go through and more of a film that you can relate to more than sit down and enjoy for an hour and a half. And Dog Days is no different than its previous predecessors. There's a lot of themes that were in those ones that transfer into this one as well. A lot of things that are very similar. So I would say that if you enjoyed the first Wimpy Kid or the second one, you'll probably enjoy this one to the same amount or the same degree. If you didn't enjoy them, you won't enjoy this one at all. It's a fun couple of or an hour and a half. So I'm going to give Wimpy Kid the same rating I gave Ice Age, a 7 out of 10. It's a fun moment just to kind of remember the things you did when you were in 8th grade. Alright, and now the big one, Dark Knight Rises. 8 years have passed since the events of The Dark Knight, and neither Bruce Wayne nor Batman have been seen very often, if at all. Bruce Wayne is locked in the top of his mansion, kind of stewing and depressed over the events that the Joker has caused, and Batman is considered to be still on the run and being hunted by the police for the death of Harvey Dent. But now a new menace threatens Gotham City, and that menace is Bane. Bane challenges Batman both physically and mentally, and somehow has ties into Batman's past. Now, with the help of an old friend, Commissioner Gordon, as well as two new friends, a hotshot rookie detective named John Blake, and Selina Kyle, aka the Catwoman, Batman must take on Bane and hopefully save Gotham one more time. I don't find it very necessary to talk about Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, all the people from the other movies, because we know how they act, we know how they are in the film, they didn't change. So instead, I'm going to focus more on the new characters, that being Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, Tom Hardy's Bane, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Detective Blake. So for starters, Anne Hathaway's performance as Catwoman. Holy crap, was she sexy in this film. I love how she was introduced to this film, I love how she worked with Batman, I love how she had ties with Bane and all this other stuff. The way they portrayed her in this film was fantastic. She was phenomenal. I can't stop praising her enough. And now who I feel really stole the show is Tom, I can kill you just by putting my hand on your shoulder, Hardy, as Bane. As I said earlier, he was both physically and mentally threatening to Batman, not like that stupid Joel Schumacher Bane that just went around saying, "Bomb, bomb." God, I hate that movie. And not to spoil anything, but if you're an avid reader of Batman comics, or you know a lot about the Batman comics, there's a famous scene with Batman and Bane when they first fight. And now, I wasn't sure if that scene would be in the film, but it is, and I got giddy, and when I saw it, I was excited, and I just wanted to jump up and down. Don't judge me. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays this cop named Detective Blake, basically holds the same moral values as Batman, and he's the perfect cop, can't be incorruptible, is kind of like a young Gordon. And he's smart. He was able to figure out that Batman didn't kill Dent, that he had nothing to do with Dent's murder, and that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Able to figure all this stuff out, and he was just a great character in my opinion. And the direction that Nolan takes Detective Blake's character in the end of the film, I thought was genius. I love what they did with it. I thought it was definitely unique. I did not see it coming. It was fantastic. I loved it. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but I thought it was genius. But now that I've said my positives, there are negatives to this film. One being it's full of plot holes. Not as many plot holes as The Amazing Spider-Man, but the plot holes nonetheless. Now, I don't want to say anything to spoil it, but there are holes in there that you kind of like, but how did he do that? And they're there, they're relevant once you start thinking about them, and it kind of takes away from the film. Also, that I didn't get everything I wanted from this film. I don't know what else I wanted or how to explain it, but for example, I went into Batman Begins with low expectations. I didn't know what to expect, I wasn't sure about it, and I left the theater mind blown. I went into The Dark Knight with even higher expectations to begin with, and again, mind blown. I went into Dark Knight Rises with about the same expectations as Dark Knight, and I didn't really leave mind blown. I wasn't really fully excited. I kind of was disappointed, if you will. I don't know what else I wanted to see. I think this film was still fantastic anyways. There's just something that was missing for me, but that's just personally me, not everyone. And so that being said, with the fantastic acting, phenomenal new characters, just overall fantastic film with a few minor plot holes and personally something that wasn't there for me, I can't give The Dark Knight a perfect score, but I will give it as close as I can with a 9 out of 10. Well, that's everything for today's show. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of what I thought, as well as your opinions on the 3 films that I did review, as well as your opinion on the 3 I just kind of gave my thoughts on. If you agree with my thoughts, if you think I was stupid, as well as leave me a rating if you will, I really appreciate that. My name is Mikey. This has been another episode of Colossal Analysis, and I will see you guys next time.